at the selection stage itself, you will have to identify people who will love the kind of job that you are offering them. And hence, you will find lot of these organizations who want to impose culture based control. In those kind of organizations, the CEOs themselves get actively involved in the interviewing process. Obviously, it is not a perfect science. This is where a lot of experience comes into being. This is where working with the people will give you an insight that is he or she the person who will really be through the thick and thin when my organization is going through different kind of challenges. Is he or she that kind of person who will very quickly start thinking that this is her own organization. In some other areas, we actually call them as organization citizens. But important to keep in mind that recruitment is just the starting process. As soon as these people come into the organization, there has to be a constant socialization process. The peer group also needs to be seen as someone who are highly motivated in doing that kind of work. Otherwise, imagine you have this very charismatic leader who inspires you and gets into the organization, but you are not going to work with the leader every day. You are going to work with other people, you are going to work with other managers, and if you look around and say, oh my God, these people are not so well inspired, they are here just for the money, then very quickly that high that you had in terms of getting inspired by the leader fizzles out. And you also become one of those people who are now saying, well, this is an organization where there are no rules, no direct supervision, the output is also 7 months away, so let me have a nice time. So, you have to have good recruitment process, you have to have a nice socialization process, and it has to be a highly motivated peer group. But you notice that all these things that I am telling are very ambiguous and hence they are extremely difficult, and that is the challenge as well as the fun of managing people, because putting down rules and regulations, supervising them, measuring how much they have sold and giving them money, well, those are nice things to do, but those are probably not as challenging as motivating people, as keeping them inspired every day, as almost telling them that this is the purpose for which you need to work. Now, if you think of Robert Lutz of Cunningham Motors, maybe he has told himself that I am not very good in doing all this leadership stuff. This looks to be very difficult. You motivate people, you inspire them, you run after them every day and make sure that your purpose of creating this car is actually their purpose. And he has chosen not to build an organization at all, because he knows that if it is a bunch of suppliers whom I need to control, then I can pay them the money and they can deliver me the product that I want to. And how to manage those suppliers is their organizational problem. So, you see, it is kind of a choice that we are talking about here, that if you are planning to build your organization, if you are planning to run a large organization, then you will have to think that can you employ these kind of control systems. Sooner or later, the task of a leader is to inspire. We are talking of two levels here. In the first level, we said that there are a lot of activities that can be done even if there is no clear convergence between principal and agent. Now, in such tasks, you will notice that it is more or less about compliance, about adherence to certain standards. Whereas, when we are talking about increasing convergence, now we are talking of bringing about commitment. Now, we are talking about the whole thing that even if it is not written in a piece of paper, you are still expected to give your best so that you can achieve the organizational purpose. And another important thing about this whole culture control is that it is extremely powerful, but you can never be sure whether it is actually working or not unless and until you take a slightly long term view. But if you can have it, then you actually have a principal agent convergence. In that case, you do not need this whole bunch of other control systems that we talked about in terms of direct supervision, rules and regulations, and output based control. So, as in many other aspects of life, it is very difficult to get. If you are able to get it, then it is extremely powerful.